This subreddit is currently actively farming her. They are now worse than Kiwi Farms because they are actively farming her. It's not triggering. It's not even trigger warning. I don't like the term trigger warning. It's a content warning. I want to bring the word trigger back to being just about PTSD, flashback, sensory triggers. You know, little white snowflakes that can't handle seeing a piece of skin. Go join Islam and cover the up. Being dissociated was creating an army of women perfect for the sneakos of this world. Here are your women. Here they are. This has bad ideas in it, claims to be educational. It's not on the same level as her recent content. I'll also agree with that. Reddit are really pissing me the fuck off. I have decided I cannot, I don't want to associate, like, you guys feel free to keep posting my content in the subreddit. I am not going to engage with the subreddit ever again. Not until they have added some more rules, because this subreddit is currently actively farming her. They are now worse than Kiwi Farms because they are actively farming her. First, let's play this. Because, yeah, as I think these cunts are actively fucking farming her, and I don't think they're worse than Kiwi Farms now. Holy shit, now 75 comments on this. What the fuck? This was on 11 comments. I refreshed. It's now 75. Oh, they're all so dumb as well. I guarantee it's also dumb. Fuck.
Sorry to hear that our triggers are incompatible. We will never, ever, ever...
First, Chloe doesn't explain this particularly well. Karen Co, whatever you want to call it, doesn't explain this very well. But this is one of those awful situations where, because of how dumbass or fucking disgusting... It's not just dumb that Reddit are being in this instance. I actually think they're being disgusting. I think they are being petulant little inbred children with the way they are thinking about this. Because the fucking brain-dead, obsessive cunts over there have decided that dissociated is no longer allowed to wear clothes that isn't like full burqa, basically. They think she's living a haram life. She is not halal. She is living haram. And in the name of the Prophet Muhammad, inshallah, they do not accept that she displays neck in her TikToks. They find it triggering and think that she should trigger warn. Because don't you know, people follow you that have trauma, and if they see your shoulders, that might trigger them. And to be fair, Chloe, this is what you have wrought upon the world with your education on what triggers and trigger warnings are and how they should be used. This is thanks to your education that this is now being delivered unto you, but it doesn't make it any less fucking frustrating and sickening to me. These people need to find God.
Hi there, I'm really sorry to hear that our triggers are incompatible. We will never, ever, ever be uncovered in any video that we make. Even if we're not wearing an actual shirt, we will always be covered, whether that's with a onesie with the shoulders off or some kind of blanket cape or something like that, but I understand your triggers and that's valid. However, the reason that our trapezius and our shoulders and sometimes our clavicle are often visible is because of our own triggers, especially when...
Now here, she should have just said, but it's my body, and you telling me to cover up is incredibly sexist and gross. Fuck off. My body to do with what I want. If you find my content triggering, unfollow me. That's it. To say that it is offensive to her because it is a trigger of hers to wear clothing on the shoulder, and as she's also going to say, and it's her CFS, it helps her CFS being naked or something. That's where I again say, Chloe, you're disgusting and need to shut the fuck up. You are in the right in this instant, but you were so desperate to be this pseudo-intellectual educator of the people that you can't help but spread misinformation, bullshit, bollocks, and utter nonsense into the world every time you seem to open your fucking mouth.
When we're resting or in pain, as we almost always are because of our chronic illnesses, having free movement in our upper body and especially around our shoulders and chest and no pressure there is one of the best ways that we've identified to control our own triggers and our own PTSD. So unfortunately we wouldn't be able to stop doing that because that's how we manage our own triggers, and it would be triggering in itself for us to have to trigger warn, specifically because it would be trigger warning.
Why trigger warn for suicide, rape, anything else basically is not needed. war crimes. You know, when we're looking at Russia, Ukraine, or Afghanistan, you know, there are certain things that we got a trigger warning for because they are triggering to such huge. Well, it's not triggering. It's not even trigger warning. I don't like the term trigger warning. It's a content warning. It's a content advisory or content warning. It's not a trigger warning. Fuck off, actually. No. It doesn't even need to be a trigger warning, does it? It needs to be a content warning. The upcoming content features depictions of rape or discussion of rape. That is the trigger warning. Doesn't need to be called a trigger warning, though, because it might not be triggering. It might just be incredibly upsetting or distressing to a person. I want to bring the word trigger back to being just about PTSD, flashback, sensory triggers, you know?
Non-sexual, normal part of our body. While it's completely valid that
Also,
that's
chat, any heat you may feel focused at you right now, it's not. I'm just hyper and heated. This is something this stuff's been building up on the Reddit and from her content now for like the last couple of months. Both have been getting more and more fucking moronic. I've been wanting to talk about it, and just it seems to be hitting this fucking crescendo of supreme dumbassery. And as we're about to see, it's spreading to other communities as well.
trigger for you, doing that would be a trigger for us, because it would be regularly drawing our attention to the reason why we've developed these coping skills in order to avoid being triggered by our own CSA and our own PTSD. So while your triggers are completely valid, it looks like it's incompatible with the way that we've learned to manage our own
Sensible opinion, trigger warnings, anti-recovery, I agree, because they stop it from being about you taking advocacy for yourself. Content warnings are fine, but even then, just not necessary. This is what I said when I made my original dissociated video, guys. Do you remember when I made that original dissociated video? I said that fucking trigger warnings are fucking the stupidest thing on earth ever, because, like, my triggers are so specific and weird and fucked up that it's impossible to trigger warn for them. And I know that that's the case for most people.
If your triggers involve seeing shoulders or exposed clavicle, this may not be the best place for you, and that's okay. You can see us on YouTube, but here we are almost always dealing with our chronic illnesses. We will be in bed, we will be on the sofa, we will be managing and handling our triggers, and this is one of the ways that we do that. And
How many
we have
times
to do
has
that
Dissociated said the word trigger in this video, for fuck's sake?
in ways that are
It's
non-triggering
triggering,
or less triggering for us.
It's
So please
triggering.
do keep yourself safe. Here is Mango
So
for
triggering.
you.
You know what's triggering? Posting a trigger warning is triggering, but she posts trigger warnings for literally everything else. If she feels she needs to be topless to deal with her own triggers, don't film that way. She seems perfectly capable of putting clothes on for her YouTube videos, so why not film her TikToks on the days she can wear clothes? Remember, Reddit were calling me sexist a couple of weeks ago. This same subreddit were calling me sexist a couple of weeks ago. Some of the people commenting in this thread, and when I reached out for clarification if they wanted to talk about it, not one has replied. Just a reminder, women, cover the fuck up. Put on more clothing. Dirty whores. Sorry, was that triggering? I'm just trying to get rid of these kind of viewers from the VOD highlight. I think this is an effective way to stop them watching. If I put like a moment like that at the very start, it'll trigger them too much. They're little fucking pussy whiny bitch snowflakes that can't handle seeing a fucking piece of skin. Go join Islam and cover the fuck up. Now we found all the women. You know what I said? Fucking Dissociated was creating an army of women perfect for the sneakos of this world. Perfect for the red pill Muslim men of this world. Here are your women. Here they are. Traumatized baby making sandwich machines. Ready to tell other women that they need to cover their shoulders up in case it triggers them. And it gets more disgusting, guys. It gets more disgusting. I haven't even read this one, I don't think. She's also speaking demeaning to the person expressing the trigger. Honestly, this form of demeaning talk irritates us more than blatant aggression, because she sounds so thoughtful and kind. If seeing our shoulders and clavicle, yes, using anatomical terms and missing the point, it's demeaning and degrading, and your trigger is stupid if you're sexualizing me for being topless and having told folks I'm topless on many occasions, but also you're totally valid in your trigger when you ultimately translate it. Oh my god, is this that fucking psycho Princess Odonata person from my own comments. Implied nudity seems to completely escape her. I'm not bothered by nudity or implied nudity, but that's not the point. The point is that she fails to see, understand, or take accountability for literally anything. Put a camisole on. It's loose and not restrictive, and folks can tell you're wearing clothes. It's also calling bullshit on her. I need to be half naked at all times because of my chronic illness. Like, it just goes on. Yeah, this is why Associated's defense was fucking the stupidest thing she could have possibly said. It was retarded. I'm saying it. Because it was a really bad defense to give. She should have just said, "What the fuck is wrong with you? If you don't want me dressing, like if you're not okay with how I dress, then unfollow me. Just unfollow." Okay, so that was actually not that bad. Like Dissociated said, it's totally valid that there's a trigger, and I'm glad that they also validated the commenter. But refusing to trigger warn content seems really off to me. Doesn't matter if Dissociated thinks it's sexualizing a non-sexual part of the body. The commenter's trigger could have nothing to do with child sexual abuse. It could be triggering physical abuse or verbal abuse trauma for them. We don't know, and we don't have to know. But this we need to avoid. It seems a bit like shenanigans. Avoidance is the glue that keeps trauma stuck, and I would encourage Dissociated to challenge that avoidance, to at least put up a trigger warning. Also, Dissociated doesn't review or watch back videos. Wouldn't seeing herself be a reminder? She's fully come out now and acknowledged that her TikTok is not a safe space for all. Less false advertising now. Basically, this person and others starts commenting to the point that Dissociated has to block them. And on the original video, you can't see all the comments, but don't worry, guys, because these people are worse than kiwi farms, and I don't want to read them. Dissociated deleted this because she wanted it deleted. Fair enough. That's her right to delete. These people are harassing her. This is somebody harassing her under the false guise of being a fan, so they can screenshot every moment of conversation and immediately post it on Reddit for the updates. They're worse than kiwi farms. I actually think they're quite disgusting at this point. Truly. Truly, truly, truly. And this behavior is being supported and upvoted beyond all other behavior. It's actually disgusting. Oh, this is interesting, though. Oh, and that was funny as well. Liked by Dissociated and 25,000 others. Anthony Padilla, Merry Night survived satanic ritual abuse. I checked she hasn't liked any of his other posts regarding the other videos he's done. Why is she only liking the ones related to SRA? Keep a lookout for any new story changes. They could be related. Hey, I said that the other day as well. Okay, that was a good bit of detective work, but...
Diagnosed with all these new physical issues and incurable diseases and whatever, and it's like, don't be a pussy. If you're gonna take us out, take us out. If you're not gonna take us out, fuck off.
All these new incurable diseases. She keeps getting diagnosed with all these new incurable diseases.
These new physical issues and incurable diseases and whatever, and it's like, don't be a pussy. If you're gonna take us out, take us out. If you're not gonna take us out...
TikTok does autoplay, so straight after Dissociated, they'll probably get e-girls, and then they're probably not bitching at them. It's pathetic and it's disgusting.
Out, fuck off.
Guarantee you're right, Clary. I agree, because it's the same doctors that diagnose it. There is a link that I need to further examine. Right. That is that. Yeah, this is so funny. The ISSTD's special interest group heads up with Grey Faction. This is from, I think, 2020 or 2021. I was mentioning this on stream the other day, some of the archives they've got. It's just funny stuff. It's really funny stuff. In fact, you know, I need to get a let's find a good AI fucking text speech. It's done.
Susan, your positive, level-headed and brave demeanor around this is simply an inspiration. I am not at all pleased with what you're reporting, very angry, among other things. And the irony of all of this is compelling, in the context of our struggles with the defining and identifying of our group's name. I'll note, I don't have the experiences some of us have had of having gone through the memory wars, or having been directly threatened. Besides last year having turned to face and stare down a car with two occupants who appeared to be hovering for a client, I walked out to my parking lot. I have had very little direct contact with these shadowy forces, myself. With all due respect to our group and board members, who are in one way or another trying to fight the good fight of working and organizing in this field, what support is there for Susan when she has to take time away from her clinical work or her own important personal life, in order to answer frightening, career-threatening, but hollow, baseless, and chaos-inspired allegations against her, professionally?
Chaos.
And even if she doesn't have to really respond, she already had to, though, or do anything. What of any of us who don't feel as brave and strong as Susan, whose anxiety and cortisol levels become elevated as a result? What of any of the indications of these organizations' success in disrupting our work on behalf of perhaps some of the most traumatized humans on the planet? How about instead of changing our group's name to appease the various forces out there, the organization develop a legal and advocacy support structure, even funding for such, to help keep Susan, and all of us, in the business of helping our clients, rather than getting distracted from this incredibly important work? Where is the ISSTD in all of this? Where does it want to be, in all of this? Again, all respect to everyone here. In some ways I want to apologize for my tone, in some ways I do not. Thank you for all that all of you do. Thank you so much for reporting in and sharing, Susan. Kind regards.
So that was a member of the ISSTD freaking out at the fact that, you know, they're trying to defend and help the most traumatized people on the planet, but these malevolent forces are conspiring to stop them using chaos-inspired allegations. Then we have Alison Miller tune in. You'll remember her name. She's quite a key figure amongst them, quite a large one. Now retired. Grey Faction already made a complaint to all licensing boards about the ISSTD. I realised during that process that the colleagues who handle complaints on our licensing boards are entirely uninformed regarding this kind of work, so they don't know what to do about such complaints. Everyone's entirely uninformed, guys, all the time. I think we need to hear Rosita. We need to hear a fucking Rosita. Rosita, you have to hear her. Oh, I did Jenny as the voice. It just knew somehow. That's amazing.
Dear Susan, Allison, and all Susan, what a terrible experience, as if COVID is not enough. Like Michael, I am so inspired by your attitude and response. For what I have witnessed since I joined the ISSTD to be a part of this SIG, that specific group is fully inflamed if any minimal attention is given to their actions. Ignoring them consistently seems to work best. I would not generalize this response to other situations, though, as every experience with similar groups may need a different reflective action. Susan, you, Allison, and many other pioneers in this forum have been cowardly attacked, and as a colleague I stand by you.
So Rosita, Ramkoa, ritual abuse, mind control, organized abuse, special interest group, past moderator. So we're looking at emails from the ISSTD's special interest group. Special interest group is a defensive organization within the ISTD that exists to counteract the actions and investigate the actions of the Grey Faction. And so these ones are freaking out about the fact that Grey Faction have found out about the special interest group and are trying to get rid of their licenses to practice and stuff. And this one's like, don't even talk about it. The more we talk about it, the more they get inflamed. because she's a past moderator. She's given up the fight. Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun. And like Grey Faction are based. They've any like doxing information they've redacted, which is very good of them. But these guys didn't know how wrong they were. This was this messaging board. These screenshots are from early 2020. I'm guessing they must be from around February or they must be from like the very start of March, basically. They must be before the explosion, basically. Yeah, they must have been early 2020, not 21, because they say things like, they really need our support right now. COVID really set us back, and Grey Faction has strategically taken full advantage of this. Mate, COVID helped you quacks more than anything on earth. This one, oh god, yeah, this I think. This special interest group is made up of some of the biggest modern quacks and old quacks from around the world. So Alison Miller has worked directly with Colin Ross, on Evander Hart, Valerie Sinison, from what I remember. Please fact check me. So that is allowed.
Hi, Susan. When I have spoken to people about this kind of situation, the advice I've gotten is for the individual to contact their insurance company.
Wait, is Linda... I don't want to say it. Wait a second. Is Linda the... Guys.
And the professional organization connected with their state license. Both of those groups give free legal information, with the state organizations providing more time. No, the board is not naive. Our board is us. It's ISSTD members elected by our membership. We do not have the kind of actions separate board that corporations have. Ours is made up of us. So, right now, we have Valerie Sinison, Rosita Cortizo, and Michael Salter as current board members. In recent years, we have had Ada Sachs, Warwick Middleton, and me. All of us are in this SIG and have spent decades working with people who have suffered extreme abuse and mind control. In addition,
again, reminder, this SIG means Special Interest Group. Group investigating Grey Faction and the False Memory Foundation to try and shit on them. Isn't this amazing? Linda sounds trans is what I don't want to say.
Troll. In addition,
Linda sounds like she needs to do more work on a pronunciation as well.
Extreme abuse, ritual abuse, and mind control. In addition, our organization has had to deal with people or groups harassing us for decades. I remember a truck, complete with loudspeakers, harassing one of our members in 1998. The Satanic Temple people have been harassing our members at conferences, and in between, for years. The board has been fully aware of this for the entire time. ISSTD is, and has been, doing all that it can to protect members who attend conferences. It is unreasonable to think that ISSTD could back every individual who is being targeted by an abusive group or person. That would require legal assistance, with lawyers knowledgeable in the laws of every state and country in which our members reside. I understand that you are upset by what is currently happening to you. I know that everyone here...
So if you don't understand what she's saying, basically Lynn's saying, yeah, this really sucks, but we've got all these famous people that are parts of this group, so don't worry. They've been doing this stuff for us for years, and it would cost too much money to actually try and defend you guys, so you're actually on your own. They're just scum. I love it.
Wants you to be safe and ride this out with no harm done to you or your practice. Please know that we are all on the same team, and we're supporting each other as much as we can. Best. Lynette.
So good. Oh god, that's a really long one. Don't care about what you're saying again, Warwick. And Lacta. Oh, this one's very big up in them. She's minimal as well. Alison Miller tunes in again. This one I want to read. Dear colleagues, This conversation is making me very uncomfortable. We elected people who made a decision that some of us do not agree with, but they were our elected representatives, and they had information which the rest of us are not privy to. Some of those people, such as Valerie Sinnison, are long-term fighters for recognition of ritual abuse and mind control. I cannot believe Valerie would just cave to pressure. I believe the purpose of this special interest group is to share clinical information about treatment of survivors. Can we return to that topic now? People who want to deal with this, with the current politics, can act outside of the special interest group. That's not what it's about. Yeah, this guy who was like, who is this one? Susan Pease Bannett was like, Lynette and Warwick, saying we are on the same team doesn't make it so. Actions speak louder than words. You took yourself off our team when you abruptly changed the name without team input and without thinking through the consequences of your action. Oh yeah, because it used to be called the Ritual Abuse and Mind Control Special Interest Group, but they just changed it to the Organised Abuse Special Interest Group. I drew a straight line from the name change to the emboldened actions of Grey Faction. You can get back on our team if you wish. Do not paint me as fearful. I do not care if I lose my license. I hardly work under it anyway. Do not paint me as fearful. I do not care if I lose my license. I hardly work under it anyway. My client list and reach would not change at all if it did. I almost surrendered my license recently anyway, but did not so that I may remain involved in educating clinicians. Don't you love the self-report? I am more disturbed about less secure clinicians' licenses being challenged and the fear they may be subjected to in standing up for their clients. Being in the special interest group does not mean one knows all there is to know about the world of mind control, ritual abuse, and white supremacy. Yes, we went there, guys. This is everything. Some conversations have yet to even begin. There is a naivete on the board which can only be remedied by long, deep conversations and synthesizing shocking and painful information, not only about clients, but about all the systems connected to our clients. As for the idea that if we take a step back, we can win the war, no! If there is one thing Trump has shown the liberals, it is that placating and stepping back encourages sociopathic mind and systems. We can still correct this error. QAnon and the ISSTD are probably more linked than anybody thinks. Obviously. Where I said that as a song, you know, you can't take it literally. That was art. But these are the highest members. Trip. We always knew, but these are the board. This is the board. The ISSTD. International Society for the Study of Trauma and Dissociation, the leading group in the field of trauma and dissociation that have helped write both the ICD-11's description of trauma disorders and the DSM-5's list of trauma disorders, are far more connected to QAnon than I think I had given credit. I knew it was a link, but this is like, isn't that one of the strongest moments for you? Just having one of the board members praise Trump in their private group and not get challenged on that. This is amazing. They all keep going crazy. More and more weigh in. this person goes, "Nah, this is the one that I showed you on the other stream." You know, the guy with the shitty comb over doesn't like being told he has a shitty comb over, and has written an entire obsessive, like, and it is just, this is just like a hate site. It's not. He's tried to do his own version of Grey Faction to fight Grey Faction. It's all about Grey Faction, but it's not great. He's even trying to shit on James Randi, right? He's trying to shit on everybody possible, but nothing in here is proved or backed up. It all comes from fucking Christian publications. It all comes from like local fucking church fucking mini websites. It all comes from like the most sussy of sources ever, or from his own fucking WordPress half the time. Most of his sources are his own fucking blogs. He actually uses himself as his source. You know, the strongest proof of credibility and veracity of claims, citing oneself. Thank you so much for watching, Loungers. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and maybe even leave a comment, you fucking arsehole.